Okay, so sit yourself onto your lift and just get yourself comfy in crossed legs, and then we'll get ready for our practice. So just have a little wriggle about, just make sure that you feel evenly placed. Hold onto your knees and then lift the chest. Feel that you can elevate the chest upwards, drawing your shoulders down away from your ears. Just look down at the floor, look at something that's not moving. Oh, there's a massive bee in here, just bear with me a second, sorry. It was all quiet until I sat down. I'll just leave the... Sorry, that was really butch, was it? So, oh, it's still in here. Hold on to your knees, lift up into the chest, draw your shoulders down away from your ears. Just take a few deep inhalations, deep exhalations. Just feel your lungs as they expand and contract. Just draw your attention in to the breath. Close your eyes if it helps. Release your hands, bring your hands into Namaste, press your palms firmly together. Lengthen from the armpits into the elbows, from the elbows into the heels of the hands. And then listen to the breath as it enters and as it exits, filling the lungs from the top to the bottom and emptying the lungs from the top. Sorry, I said that the wrong way around. Fill the lungs from the bottom to the top and empty the lungs from the top to the bottom. So breathing into the bottom of the lungs, filling up to the top, and then the opposite direction for the out breath. As long as there are no heart conditions or blood pressure issues, at the top of the in-breath you can just gently hold the breath for a moment or two, just to allow the energy of the breath to absorb into the lungs, and then normal exhalation. So just drawing in the vitality of the inhalation, allowing it to absorb into the blood. And then with an exhalation, draw your chin down to meet your chest, just feeling the stretch at the back of the neck, lengthening the shoulders away from the ears. Just spend a moment to seek to generate a genuine, heartfelt sense of gratitude for something or someone or somewhere. Hold on to that feeling of abundance in the heart area, and then release the backs of your hands down toward your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, just allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Just hold on to your knees. Lift the chest up towards the ceiling, and then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Take a deep in breath. Hold on to that breath if you can, and then release. And then draw your chin up towards the ceiling. Same thing, take a deep breath, hold the breath for a moment if you can, and then exhale. Bringing the head back as you exhale, and then drawing the chin down to meet the chest, the same thing again. Bringing the head back with the exhalation, and then raising the chin. And then bringing the head back with the exhalation. And this time the same breath pattern, but we're going to bring the right ear down to the right shoulder, lengthening out into the left side. And then go over to the left side. And then repeat. And then bring the head back to the middle, and then just bring the breath back to normal. So just take some deep inhalations, deep exhalations, and observe how when you held that breath for a short moment, it gave you a moment to extend a little more deeply into the stretch. So just one more time, the same thing, just going down and then back to the center, up, then back to the center. Do that twice, and then going over to the right and then the left, and then doing that twice. So one more time, just stretching out the neck. So take a deep inhalation as you go down, and then hold and extend into the breath, extend into the extension, and then come back with the exhalation, and then up, and then working in that frame. And then repeat it. And then to the right ear. And over to the left. And then back to the right. And then back to the center. Just hold onto your knees, lift up into the chest, drive the chest upwards, take a deep inhalation. And then with the exhalation, turn to the right side, drawing your abdomen across your ribs, across your shoulders, across. Taking a deep inhalation, holding the breath gently, turning a little more deeply with that held inhalation, and then turning a little more deeply with the exhalation. And then come back to the center, lift up into the chest. Take a deep inhalation and then turn with the out breath. Drawing the abdomen across all the more with the out breath. And then come back to the center. Just come off your lift and then just sit back on your heels for a moment and just wriggle into your hips. Just kind of let the legs really work their way into the floor. But we're not going to stay down with the shins, but I just want you to lift up into the chest, driving the chest upwards, and then lengthen the chin up towards the ceiling, drawing the shoulders down towards the floor, lengthening the fingers towards the floor. And then bring the chin down to meet the chest. And then soften the neck, come up onto your knees, have your little fingers on the edge of the mat. Spread the palms, bring the feet as wide apart as your mat, and then come up into dog down. Just feel how your body responds to the pose to begin with. You can bend your knees just to keep the seat bones lifting, to keep the tailbone lifting. So don't hold the breath anymore, but just feel the lungs from the bottom to the top, emptying the lungs from the top to the bottom. Just let your head hang down. Breathing evenly and deeply, listening to the sound of the breath. If I'm holding you too long in the pose, then you can rest in Adho Mukha Virasana, but if you can stay and maintain, just do and focus on breathing. Slow, deep, deliberate breaths. Okay, just step your feet forwards, come up into a standing position, and then just come into Tadasana. So the inner edge of the feet together, lifting up into the chest, driving the chest upwards. And then bring the feet hip width apart, turning the toes in, raise your arms up, and then thumbs into the crease of the elbow, wrap your fingers around your elbows, or come halfway if you're protecting your back, and then hinge at the hips, and come forward, and just hang down, continuing with the breath. Turning your toes inwards. Just listen to the breath. Listen to the sound of the breath as it enters and as it exits. Just lengthening from the hips into the armpits, from the armpits into the elbows, from the elbows into the hands. Stretching out the body, breathing evenly and deeply. And then release your hands down to the floor. Bring your hands into your hips, bend your knees on the way up if you need to. And then come up into a standing position. Just come into Tadasana, just lifting the chest, driving the chest up towards the ceiling. And then raise your arms up into urdhva hastasana, really stretching your arms up towards the ceiling, turning the palms to face each other, stretching the thumbs towards the back of the room. And then try and wing the arms beyond your ears, but without banana-ing the body. So keep the shins hitting back, keep the thighs hitting back, keep the tailbone turning in, the abdomen drawing towards the spine, and then try and lengthen your arms beyond your ears. And release your arms, breathing evenly. Bring your arms nice and wide in towards the chest. Step or jump the feet wide. Turn the left toes in, the right leg and foot all the way out. Really firm up the kneecaps. Tighten the kneecaps. And then come down into trikonasana. So if you've got a stiff neck, just look forwards or down if looking up gives you aggravation. So just let the neck be soft, but still work to turn the abdomen. So sometimes it's really nice to look down in trikonasana as long as you're still turning the abdomen towards the ceiling. It brings quietness to the brain and it allows you to focus on the breath. Reach up with the top hand, come back to the center, stretch and swap the feet around to turn the right toes in, the left leg and foot all the way out. And then keeping the legs really firm. Come over to the left side. Again, if there's problems with your neck, just look down or forward. You can look up if it doesn't aggravate it, but Just looking down is nice, but turn the chest up to face the ceiling when you're looking down. Breathing evenly and deeply listening to the breath. And then bring the top hand down onto the floor on the big toe side of the foot. Bring the other hand onto the little toe side of the foot. Turn the back foot all the way out. And then step yourself back into dog down. Just feel the lightness of the limbs. Breathing consistently and deeply with observation. Letting your head hang down, letting the neck be completely soft. Okay, and then just gently come down onto your knees. Just sit back on your heels for a moment. Just let the arms relax. Just sitting on your heels, just feeling that lightness of energy radiating out from the bones into the muscle, into the flesh, into the skin. Okay, and then just open your eyes and get your bolster. So we can do a couple of restorative poses to ease out the neck. So you want a bolster. If you haven't got a bolster, you can use cushions. So use a bunch of cushions to give you a little lift. So this is a supported bridge pose. Then get your blanket, unfold it like this. So if we kind of sit on the blanket, it's usually folded like that. So have it out like that, and then you're going to roll the end into a Swiss roll. So you still want some blanket at where your head's going to go, but you want a Swiss roll, a fairly firm, fairly sizable one. So don't be shy about kind of giving yourself a good lift underneath that neck. I'm just going to close this a little. When we were doing lockdown, the trains weren't driving past quite so often, were they? So, so you got the rolled blanket for your head, and then you're just going to come down onto the floor, and then just bring your head down. And at this stage, you feel, well, actually, maybe that's too thick, or maybe I could go a little more, roll it up just a tiny bit more. You don't want to kind of constrict the back of the head, but you want this feeling of real kind of support and softness in your neck. And then once you've got that in the right place, get your bolster, and then lift up like you're going to do Setu Bandha, and then just rest yourself down onto the lift. So once you're in position, if it doesn't feel right, just adjust it until it does feel right. And then just allow yourself to release, just rather than the extensions of the previous poses. Let yourself relax. Now, if you sink in the chest too much, then you can just lift up and move the bolster just a little higher up into your back, so that it just helps to lift your chest a little. Have your arms at the sides of the body. Close your eyes if you haven't done already, and just use this pose to release into the floor. Continue to breathe evenly and deeply, but just observe how the breath feels slightly different when we're not consciously lifting the chest. If the position labours the breath, then adjust the lift underneath your back. Bring it up your back a little higher. Just give yourself permission to relax. Observe that lightness that we have conjured up through the extension poses. Feel that lightness filling the physical body, radiating around the body. Use your breath to distribute that feeling of lightness evenly. Remember, comfort is paramount with restorative poses. So if you're not comfortable, then just adjust the position until you are. Just stay in connection with that lovely, blissful feeling of lightness. As though the bones are full of helium, and then radiating helium into the muscles and into the flesh and into the skin. Okay, when you're ready, just lift up the seat bones, just slide the bolster out from underneath, and then just stay with the bolster underneath the legs for a moment. And then gently roll onto your side and then sit yourself up. Just come up into a cross leg position, and then just being cross legs with your hands on your knees, just observe the lightness of your energy. Okay, so just get your blanket, fold it up like it's gonna like a pillow, and then just move your bolsters out the way. And this is a bit of a variation on Jatara Paravatasana. So you need some space at the side of you if you can get it. So you're going to come down onto the floor, grip the blanket between your two knees, and then just bring your arms out in line with your shoulders, and then just bring your knees over to the side, and then just turn your neck you can turn it in the opposite direction, or you can just turn it in the same direction as your knees. It's much softer to do it in the same direction as your knees. So you're just holding onto the blanket between the two knees, just roll over to the side, bring your and then draw your chin in the same direction as the knees. If you want to extend it a little more, then turn the neck all the way out. But this isn't necessarily about extension. This is about softening, about relaxation. Soften the shoulders into the floor. Just breathe evenly. In Jatara Paravatasana, we try and keep the knees clamped together, the feet clamped together, but this can be a little softer. Just hold onto the blanket between the knees, but not holding too tight. Soften the shoulders, soften the neck. Just breathe in evenly and deeply. So as you stay, your chin is in the same direction as the knees. And just notice that through relaxing, you get a stretch of the left side of the neck. If you feel like you're having to hold the pose in the legs too much, put a block underneath your knees, on the outside of the knees, just to soften the hips. Softening out the shoulders on the floor. Okay, bring your head to face the ceiling, chin up to face the ceiling, bring the knees back to the middle, and then if you use the block underneath your knees on the other side, then have the block for your knees on this side, bring your knees over to the left this time, stretching your arms out, and then again letting your head just rest in the direction of the knees. Relaxing in the shoulders. Releasing the shoulders into the floor. The more you let go of your shoulders, the more let go of the neck. And then to come back to the center, release the head first, look up to the ceiling, release the legs, take the blanket from out underneath between your knees, and then come into Advisable, soles of the feet together, knees apart, just opening up the hips, just leaving the arms where they are, just arms at shoulder height. Just observe how perhaps the neck feels soft and stretched. And if you let go of the pose in the legs, you can just feel gravity drawing your knees down to the floor. Although we often try to defy gravity in our usual approach to yoga, in restorative, we allow gravity to assist the body. Connecting with that feeling of lightness on the inside. Of course, if you need support underneath the thighs, then put blocks underneath the thighs. Okay, when you're ready, just gently draw your knees together. Just have the knees together and the feet apart for a moment. And then roll onto your side, onto your right side, and then sit yourself up. Coming into the cross legs. Just lifting the chest, driving the spine upwards. Just feel the length around the neck, softness of the shoulders, the lightness of your energy. And then just get your blanket for your head, and then a bolster for your underneath your knees. If you've got a couple of blocks handy, you can have a couple of blocks for your feet. And just come down into our basic relaxation pose, Sirvasana variation. Just supporting the neck with the blanket. Just moving the bolster so that it's comfortable in your back. Just moving the blocks if you're using them just to support the backs of the ankles. Just close your eyes and then allow yourself to just melt into the floor. Just feel the lightness of your energy that our practice has released. Observe the skin on the underside of the feet and relax the underside of the foot. Become conscious of the skin on the top of the foot, and then consciously relax the top of the foot. Become conscious of the skin of the shins, the muscles of the calves, and allow the shin bone to sink into the bed of the calf muscle, relaxing the shins, relaxing the skin. Draw your attention into the thighs. And then release the fronts of the thighs into the backs of the thighs, relaxing the thighs. Draw your attention into your torso. And relax the muscles and the skin around the upper body, around the torso. Draw your attention into your arms. And then allow the arms to become heavy. Relax the upper arms, the forearms, and the palms of the hands and the fingers. Soften the neck. And feel the skin around the skull. Relaxing the skin around the skull by stretching from the crown of the head down towards the neck. Just floating in that blissful feeling of lightness. Just basking in that feeling of energetic lightness. And when you're ready to disturb yourself, just gently wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, bring yourself back into this pose of Sirvasana or basic relaxation, and then bring your feet onto the bolster, let the knees come together, just rest your back into the floor. And then draw your knees in towards your chest, just have a little rock from side to side, from top to bottom, just a gentle massage on the spine. And then very gently roll over onto your right side. Just stay down for a breath or two. And then stretch out the top leg, come back up into the seated position. Just final cross legs with your hands in Namaste. Just a final spinal lift. Breathing in through the nose and out through the nose, feeling the rejuvenation of your energy, that lightness in the fingertips, in the palms of the hands, in the arms, in the chest, in the legs, in the toes. Draw your breath in through your nose, down into the abdomen. Conscious of the energy that you have released through our gentle practice this morning. Lightness of energy flowing through the limbs. And then draw your chin down to meet your chest. Just acknowledge the positive energy you've created inside. And radiate some of that positive energy out into the world. And then release the backs of your hands down towards your knees, palms facing upwards. And as you raise your head, allow your eyes to softly open and the focus to softly come back. Thank you very much. So hopefully you feel as though, even though that was a really gentle session, feel like you've really lifted your energy and given yourself lots of good energy to put into the rest of your day. So thank you very much for joining me.